If you've seen my last video in the series, you'll know I badly sprained my ankle trying to board slide over a gap. In that video I ended with the first session I had after the initial sprain, which was 9 days later, but at that point I could only ride around and do manuals. That didn't really change in the days that followed. My ankle was still too unstable, didn't have enough strength, and still hurt too much on impact to do anything else. But every time I went out to have a session, I tested what was possible a little bit. My next session was 16 days after the initial sprain and I was able to do some baby jumps again. I didn't have my flick back yet, so I couldn't start working on my kickflips again. It was still hurting a bit and I couldn't flick fast or hard enough. I also tried one nose stall to see if I could start working on my nose slides again, but that hurt quite a bit more. So that day I just did what was possible for me.
Wind me up, the clock says go, through the motion and through the blood, like a machine on a drone, waiting for the time I can go home. Pay the bills, wait for thrill. Excitement never comes, dull moments never leave. Like a fool, here I go, hoping tomorrow will bring more. The pressure is too much to take. It's my own mistake, I will never learn. Run in circles, I'll start till I break down. The art of letting go is something I will never know. Here I remain, high strung. Seize the day, they all say, watching every hour how those moments fade away. I guess I'm late, I don't see it. The pressure is too much to take. Oh, it's my own mistake, 'cause I will never learn. Run in circles, I'm stuck till I break down. The art of letting go is something I will never know. Here I remain, high strung.
Even though it felt like I had to start from further back again, I was simply happy to do more than cruising this time. And 2 days later I went out to the same parking lot again to have a more serious session, but to my surprise, this time I wasn't the only skater there. So for that session I left my camera in my backpack and skated with the 17-year-old dude who was there also skating, who was obviously a lot better than me. But it was fun and it pushed me a bit more, and I landed more than I usually do, which makes it in turn a bit unfortunate that I didn't film anything. I was able to jump a bit more and my ankle was feeling slightly better, but at this point I started noticing that my toy machine deck was reaching the end of its usable life. I've skated it for 3 months at this point and it still looks pretty good, but the pop and the grip tape are both pretty much gone. After another day of rest, I went out before work one morning to do a quick flat ground session. My ankle and foot were hurting a bit more at this point, so I wanted to take it easy, also because I had to headline a festival with my band 2 days later. When I started skating, my toy machine deck didn't feel that bad, but once I switched to the almost deck, it was a big difference. And although my body had a bit more strength to jump around again, my mind and body weren't fully with me for that session. My body was sore and my mind was chickening out too much. I was doing things too slow, landing with my heels on the floor too much, not fully committing. I think I could do everything I did in that session a lot better with the proper self-confidence and commitment. So the day after I played that festival with my band, I went out to have a little skate session at my OG parking lot, but it was scorching hot. I wasn't feeling entirely fit after a late night, so I resorted to doing the most baby versions of slappies you can imagine, but those were my first slappies. So that wasn't much, just a bunch of clips that my wife filmed. The curb was very slanted, so it wasn't hard to get on there, but the next time I have to wax it a lot more and drive a bit faster to get more out of it, but still, it was a lot of fun. The next day I went out for a cruise with the wife and kid and felt pretty good on the board. I was cruising my old setup. So when the kid went to bed, I decided to have my first proper session back on the board using my new setup. That took some getting used to though. A new and stiffer deck with fresh grip tapes and thunder trucks that ride a lot different than the surfy Royal inverted kingpin trucks I've been riding for the last few months. It was my first real session back on the board in over 3 weeks with new shoes and a new setup. It took some work and getting used to.
This way
Only being able to manual for about 2 weeks has paid off though, because I'm doing that without a problem now. I had some issues getting back on the curb, as you could see, but eventually I got there, and my flick isn't fully there yet, so I focus on some different flat ground stuff. I'm glad my 180 tricks are getting a bit better and that my shove it is becoming more consistent and especially more confident. But I'm very happy that I'm getting there with my full caps. But once that front shove it almost kicked me out, I decided to end my session while I was still ahead. So finally, my road to recovery is looking better again. I'm feeling better on the board and I feel like I'm being more mindful about what I'm doing. Most of all though, I'm enjoying skateboarding so much right now, so I hope to bring you some new and exciting stuff for the next episode.